superstars. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful morning, a wonderful day to be alive, of course. Welcome to a special edition of Mornings with Morris. Here I am your host, the one and only Morris Austin, and here on a special edition of Mornings with Morris, we are interviewing the one and only Paul Wilson Jr. He is an entrepreneur, he is a known author, and a father. Hey, he got 3 jobs, so there it is right there. I'm very, very privileged to be sitting here with Mr. Paul Wilson today. He is the author of 2 books I have here right now, and then 1 on the way. I have here, he has Ink My Dream for all of you entrepreneurs, all of you business go-getters. This is a book you want to get. Turn your dreams into your business. So Ink My Dream is a very powerful book that he has written. Also, Mr. Paul Wilson Jr. has written Dream Big in 3D. Oh my goodness, this book has shown me so much and taught me so much. So we get to kind of dive into his mind on a different kind of level today. We're going to get a little spiritual. We're going to talk about the Christian walk and us Christians in the world of business, how we should conduct ourselves and how we should take over these industries. As you see, yours truly on the way to taking over the entertainment industry. It's ours, it's mine for the taking. So stay tuned for Mr. Paul Wilson Jr. right here on Mornings with Morris. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you all have been waiting for, here we are, Mornings with Morris. Interview time. Ooh, it's time, it's time. I got minister, entrepreneur, extraordinaire, motivator himself, mentor. I can go on and on, but here he is, Mr. Paul Wilson Jr.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Just, oh my goodness, just for taking the time out.
Absolutely.
Come on down to the Austin Creation Studio and just dropping some of this knowledge on us.
Absolutely. I see what I can do, but
yeah,
it's definitely a privilege to be here. It's been a long time coming.
Yes, it has been a long time coming.
Absolutely.
Because we've known each other for what? 3, 4 years. 3, 4 years now. So it's just a matter of time for us to sit down and be able to just have a moment like this.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? Your career is almost on the brink of stardom. You are author.
Yes.
You scratched the surface of some acting.
Yeah, scratch the surface. That's probably a good way to say it. Right.
My goodness, and of course you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I've already had the opportunity to plug a couple of your books.
Sure.
As you have by you, Dream Big in 3D.
Yeah,
and I have here Ink My Dream. These are my books, okay?
Right.
These are my books.
Right.
These are books.
They're not just props.
No.
Okay,
they're not just props. These are my books. I own them. I read them on a daily basis. It helped me set this platform for Austin Creations. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that.
Definitely.
So I want to dive in to what you got in your head,
Sure.
Mr. Paul Wilson Jr. Can I call you Paul?
Yes, you can.
Can I call you Paul?
You call me Paul.
I want to be a little formal on the show.
You are, but friends, we can call each other by first name.
Friends, we can call each other by first name.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm Morris.
Yes.
I'm Morris. And you're Paul.
Yes,
All right, we're going to have a good time today on Mornings with Morris.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you today.
Sure.
First question leading out the gate, Mr. Paul. How does a Christian's purpose, okay, relate to their job / career? How does that relate?
It's very integrated, right? Because if we think for a lot of people, right, they'll get up on Monday mornings. First of all, they can't stand getting up on Monday morning because they can't stand their job. Not that they want to get up oftentimes, because they don't want to go to their jobs. They hate their job, so can't wait. Can't stand Monday and can't wait till Friday, right? So they just kind of go through the week, going through the motions. Can't wait for the weekend, and then what I call the Sunday night slog, where you were excited on Friday evening, excited on Saturday, excited on Sunday morning, and about 6, 7 o'clock on Sunday, your attitude starts shifting because you are projecting Monday morning again, where you got to go to that job, right? Where many people feel unappreciated, underpaid, but most importantly, they feel out of their purpose because they don't have the passion, right, for what they're doing. And I just believe that if we look back at the Garden of Eden, right, God created Adam, put him in the garden for Adam to tend it. Adam didn't need anything in the garden, but God put him to work. So he had a purpose, he had an assignment, he had something significant that he was given to do. And for so many people, we don't understand that work, because work is not cursed, right? That's not a bad thing. A job is not a bad thing, right? Having a business is not a bad thing. So if we're going to invest so much time and energy, right, I did some calculations. we could technically say 60 to 70% of our lives, especially say from between 21 and maybe 60, is spent working.
Wow.
Right, of our time, and that's really the most valuable thing we have is time.
Yeah.
So if 60 to 70% of our time is spent either preparing for work, working, or getting home from work, right? Especially if you talk about your commute.
Absolutely.
It wouldn't make sense that much of our time is spent doing something that we hate.
Ooh.
That is not God's intention for us.
Absolutely.
So his intention would be that we are doing what we love that he put inside of us to do.
Wow.
So whether it be acting, whether it be drawing, whether it be singing, whether it be dancing, whether it be an engineer, whether it be graphic design, whether it be being a lawyer, a judge, the president, I mean, whatever it is that he put inside of us to do, we're supposed to be enjoying it. Because he gets the most pleasure out of us when we enjoy life the way he intended for us to enjoy it. So we're not just supposed to enjoy it in the evenings when we get home. Not just supposed to enjoy it on the weekends, right? When we're not away from work.
Yeah.
It should be that the totality of our lives are spent on purpose doing what he designed us to do. Yeah. So the question then would be, well, if I hate 70% of my life, if I hate my job, then I'm saying I hate 70% of my life.
Wow.
No wonder people are miserable.
No wonder.
No wonder people have road rage. No wonder people are frustrated. And then what do we turn around and do, adults turn around and do, and we demonstrate to our children to hate work.
Wow.
Right? Because if all they hear is the parents complaining about their job, no wonder why would they want to go to work if all they hear is people complaining about the work that they do?
It's a cycle.
It is a cycle.
Oh my.
Right?
A horrible cycle.
And if I could kind of continue to process with this purpose thing, because think about when we were kids, right? We all had big dreams, right? Big ideas, right? And we always be told by most people, again, if you grew up in a decent environment, dream big, you can be anything you want to be.
Anything
right?
you want to be, yeah.
From the time you're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, 12 or 13, you're still being told that for the most part. But think about how the message changes when it's time for you to graduate from high school. Now it's time for you to grow up and become a responsible adult.
It's time.
But the way they make it sound is that there's no fun in responsibility. There's no fun in being an adult. Because now basically it says it's time for you to go pay some bills. It's time for you to go find a job that you do not like. Use a degree that you earned, but you're probably not going to use it on that job. And do that for 30, 40 years so you can earn a gold watch somewhere and then pack it up, spend a few years in a retirement home and die.
Come on now.
What type of life is that, right?
No.
So it's almost as if by the time you get 18, 19, 20, or time to graduate from either high school or college, they tell you to put away the dream so you can become an adult. Again, I do not believe that is God's design. Because if he put it inside of us as a young child, his goal or intention was that it would be nurtured throughout childhood.
Wow.
But then into adulthood, get this, we take responsibility for the dream coming to pass. Not become responsible and forget about the dream. Right? And I like what Paul said, which I think sometimes is misunderstood. He said, when I was a child, I did childish things. But when I became a man, I put away childish things, right? He wasn't talking about the dream or vision that God gave us.
Right.
So I think for many adults, it's time to kind of dust off our imagination, dust off our dream, and go back to what was it that gave us passion as children. Now again, it may not be that exact thing. Again, if you say you want to be an astronaut and now you're 50 years old, that may not happen, right?
You can't dust that off.
But what was it about being an astronaut, right? Was it flying? Was it the science, right? Was it being in nature, right? Or was it creating things? So maybe it was something about being an astronaut that you can still do today that will rekindle that spark of that fire that God put inside of you when you got to the planet. Because part of it is he sent you to the planet with a purpose to solve a problem for a group of people.
Yeah, he did.
Right? So if I don't understand my purpose, I'm probably not looking for that problem I'm trying to solve, which also then leads me to, I may love people, but I may not like them enough to actually want to serve them.
Come on now.
Or I may not even love them at all, because I'm so busy loving myself, right? Or so busy trying to make money, so busy trying to do other things that I don't really understand the connection between my job and my career, back to your original question. I don't understand God's intention for my job and my career, so I turn it into something else, again, either to make money, either to do some other thing, or I just use it to waste time to get to the weekend. All of that is off. Because again, Dr. Miles Monroe, and I know it's a long answer. Dr. Miles Monroe, one of my favorite, I say mentors from afar, of course, he's passed away now. But one of his powerful quotes that I just remember today. He says, when you don't understand the purpose of a thing, you will either misuse it or abuse it. So how many people are misusing or abusing their lives right now, or misusing or abusing their careers or their jobs, even their businesses, because they don't understand God's purpose and intent for that platform?
That's some powerful stuff.
I know. It was a lot. I'm sorry. You opened it up. So I had to just kind of.
I had to open that box. I had to open that box because you probably caused maybe about 1,000 people to really dig deep and start thinking. I almost got derailed in college with what you just said. Okay. I was told no one goes to college and studies theater and film for 4 years.
Right.
I was told that, and because I'm 18 years old, really? Oh, okay, let me go change my major then.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I knew that was my heart.
Right.
Theater, I wanted to act. I want to know behind the camera, in front of the camera. I want to be on stage, behind the stage. Absolutely. And oh my goodness, but it's so amazing when you start acting and in your purpose that God called you for. It's not even work.
It's not
work no more. Things start to flow. When I start to say, all right, I'm a full-time actor. Right. You know what? I'm gonna start my business in theater and film, and let's do what I love doing. Everything just started to fall into place. Almost like a falling into your lap type of thing. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, God. Oh, this opportunity, that opportunity. You ain't gotta work for it.
You don't.
So it's kind of like, why do people have the mentality that I gotta work for this and that? This, if you're operating in purpose and calling, it could be just that easy.
And it should be.
Just that easy. Now, Minister Paul, why would it be so important, or why would you strongly encourage Christians to take hold that flag of entrepreneurship?
Right. And it goes along with the same line, right? Because, as again, God put Adam and Eve into the garden, right? To tend the garden and to do work. Yeah. And He also, commanded, Adam and Eve to be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, right? Which means that, and He told them to take dominion over everything in the earth, right? Which means we have authority over it. We have the power over it to utilize, not over other people, but over every resource that's in the earth. And if you think about entrepreneurship, is taking resources and turning it into something of value that other people want. Okay. Right? Simply said, it's solving problems. If you're an entrepreneur, you solve problems. That really, and the people who solve problems the best make the most money.
Wow.
Right? The people who help the most people with the problem that they solve make the most money. Right? Think about it. Microsoft, right? They helped a whole lot of people through business, right? Apple, right? And again, so we may say, how do they solve a problem? Or just change the wording to meet a need. Satisfy a desire. You satisfy enough desires of enough people, right? The person, again, who invents clothes, right? And created clothes and all these things. Anything that we look at that is a successful product today, look how many customers they have, which means that there are people out there who wanted what they created, right? And so from a Christian standpoint, to me, entrepreneurship is a divine characteristic that flows out of who God is and who He created us to be, because we were created in His image. So I call God the original entrepreneur, right? Because everything that we see today comes from an idea, right? Comes from a thought first before it become a reality. Well, what happened when God created everything in the beginning? It said in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Before He could create it, He had to have had an idea what it was first. The idea, again, for God, that could have been a third of a nanosecond, right? His idea just came like that, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, he creates. But He created us in His image, which lets us know that why are we not creating more things in the earth from God's mind?
That's something.
Right? So to me, entrepreneurship is the essence of taking what's in God's mind and bringing it into reality, into the earth. Right? And so, and in a sense, because God's whole desire for mankind, right, is to impact our lives, transform our lives. And He does that, again, through the process of helping, again, putting people in the planet to solve a problem. He sent Jesus here to solve a problem. That was Jesus' main assignment. We just boil it right down. The problem was what? Sin. Jesus was the answer. He sends Jesus to the earth to solve the problem. Every other thing in the earth, right, that's wrong, that's off, there's a human being with the Spirit of God who's supposed to be helping solve that problem. Look at briefly how Jesus taught us how to pray, right?
Okay.
The disciples could have asked Jesus many things, and they probably did, we just don't see it recorded. Yeah. But the thing that the writers wanted us to focus on when the disciples asked Jesus a question that was very important, we never see the disciples ask Jesus how to heal. We don't see them ask Jesus how to cast out demons. Right. We don't see disciples asking that. I'm sure they did in private, but we don't see it written. Yeah. But we do see written is the disciples asking Jesus how to pray. So when Jesus teaches them how to pray, he says, first, of course, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. The next part is critical, especially to the point of entrepreneurship. He says, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. He basically said, you should pray heaven into the earth. Wow. He didn't say, pray that we leave the earth to get to heaven. Think about that. Which means that God wants the earth's problems solved by people in the earth by asking heaven to come into the earth. Come on now. So let's break it down just from a real practical level. Real practical. Is there sickness in heaven? No. Is there sickness in the earth? Yes. So we should be praying heaven into the earth. Heaven into the earth. Merge. So God can do it in many different ways, right? He can do it miraculously. Yeah. But he can also use doctors with inventions that cure sickness. Yeah. Right? Because God wouldn't want people in the earth to be sick. So he has to give people ideas on how to cure sickness in the earth, because that's healing is God's idea, not man's idea. Yeah. So that means healing would have to come from heaven into the earth. It would have to people, and get this, not even just Christians. Bible says it rains on the just as well as the unjust. That's what it says. How many Christians are sitting around praying for a mailbox blessing? A mailbox blessing. When God probably gave them potentially $1 million business idea years ago, but they discounted themselves because it wasn't spiritual enough. Come on now. Right? You about to preach. It wasn't spiritual enough, but he could have given them a business idea that not only would have been their financial breakthrough, but more importantly, how is the business serving people to help transform lives? How is the business creating an atmosphere for discipleship? Because now if you're the Christian business owner, you get to hire people into an atmosphere. Because get this, how many, on average, pastors may spend an hour preaching on a Sunday, and these days it's even shorter. Right? Yeah. But if you're the business owner, you have employees, how many hours a week did you get to spend with people if you have employees? Ministering to them, coaching them, developing them, hiring the right people to get in their positions, and they don't hate their jobs, they love their jobs because they love working for you. They love to come to work for you. Yeah. Because they get to fulfill their purpose. Yeah. They also get paid for it, right? What type of atmosphere of discipleship is being utilized? Something else. Right? Now we need churches on Sundays. Yeah. But the role of the church on Sunday is not discipleship. Right. But that could definitely be the role, which I call marketplace pastors, entrepreneurs who can hire people and create an atmosphere of discipleship to help people grow into their purpose. Right. So that's one of those long answers, but that's one of the reasons why, to me, entrepreneurship, again, is God's idea, not man's invention. Our job is to take God's idea, become good stewards of God's ideas, and then use his ideas the way he intended. Absolutely. So it's not just about making money, it's about establishing the kingdom of God in the earth. Because he told Adam and Eve, be fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth, right? Yeah. So all that is part of that is financial prosperity. Yeah. Right? Because again, we're supposed to take the resources in the earth and turn them into something valuable. Yeah. But the other part, when he said, be fruitful, multiply, Adam and Eve are supposed to have children, right? They're supposed to procreate. Absolutely. And you're supposed to what? Train up your child in the way it should go. So all the children of the earth were supposed to become just like Adam. Of course, Adam messed up, so now we have to become just like Jesus in terms of our character and our development. Fill the earth, and we do that through what? Discipleship. Absolutely. So entrepreneurship is a great way to do that, because again, if I'm a manager in a secular job, if you will, now again, to me, all work is honorable, but again, if I'm working for an environment that isn't quote unquote a Christian environment, I don't have the same freedom. No, you don't. Right? I got restrictions. And you better do your job, right? Don't come talk about you coming to preach. You're not getting paid to preach. Right? You get paid to do that work, right? So you better, now again, of course, you can let your light shine, but you have some restrictions that you have to abide by. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, right? You have some restrictions that you have to abide by. But if you're an entrepreneur, you get to set the rules. Yeah. Right? You get to establish what God is influencing you to establish potentially a completely different environment than if you're working for somebody else. But again, everybody's not gonna be an entrepreneur, so I'm not telling you go run and start your own business, right? Don't do that, right? Just because you hate your job, do not run out and quit and say, Minister Paul said I can quit my job because the Lord wants me to start a business. I will call you a lie, unless the Lord told you to do that, right? Because again, some people need to be a light in the corporate darkness, right? And that's a God-given assignment also. But for those who are called to be entrepreneurs, please, please, please pursue what God put in your heart. And for the right reasons. He'll bless you
He will.
when your focus is on people and the people God called you to serve.
Yes, He will. But you got to admit that